Stay tuned and let's take a look at this Marvel Legends Colossus Build-A-Figure, aka Age of Apocalypse Wave 2, Sabretooth. Pow, and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember, you can now hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Quite simply show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends Colossus Build-A-Figure, aka the Age of Apocalypse Wave 2. Now, if you're a fan of the channel, then you already know Age of Apocalypse is definitely a topic of conversation here, as they are not my particular favourite version of the X-Men. However, I have grew to appreciate these unique character designs, and I did buy Wave 1, so I am creating a nice colourful corner of my X-Men display with these AOA alternative versions. As I said, it isn't 616. This did happen in an alternative reality, so it can be a sort of separate corner of your display. And yeah, if in that first wave we got Wildchild, and Wildchild would be incomplete without the man himself, Victor Creed, Sabretooth. And this guy is pretty heavy in the box. Definitely a figure we needed to sort of round out Wave 1 with that Wildchild. He comes with an interchangeable head with that ponytail and a Colossus Build-A-Figure head. He also comes with interchangeable fisted hands so he can fight some good guys or bad guys because he switches sides in the storyline. But yeah, Sabretooth, X-Men, Age of Apocalypse, spin it round. There he is on the side. Apocalypse poking through. On the back, that same image. A little right of the reeds. After betraying Apocalypse and making his escape, Sabretooth joins the mutant rebels, the X-Men, to fight for the good in the harsh dystopian future. And then, as always, you get a list of all the figures in this wave you need to build the Colossus Build-A-Figure. Today we're reviewing Sabretooth. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this guy stands up next to Wildchild, to be fair, as that will make for a nice part of the display. But yeah, without further ado, let's get him open. So here we have Sabretooth out of the packaging with all of his accessories on the table, including the Build-A-Figure piece for Colossus, which is his massive head. And this guy is looking very impressive, I must admit. So you know what to do, subscribe to the channel, check out the playlist, because once I've went through all the figures in this wave, we will build and review Colossus together, and he is looking pretty good. So let me zoom back out. Push him to the side and just check out Sabretooth. Now, I should mention that in the packaging, the ponytails for both heads were in a separate tray in the box. So obviously, if I zoom in, you can see here, there's a peg hole in the heads, in both heads. This is the angry face, and that is where you put the ponytail. But if you wanted to use these heads now as just other Sabretooth heads in your collection without the ponytail, for 616 maybe, I guess you could do that and you could easily fill in that hole. But of course, let's plug the ponytail in. This is AOA, and that does have a little bit of articulation. You can swing it around for different poses maybe. But yeah, there's one head looking good. But let me zoom back out. You can see he's got a set of interchangeable hands as well, fisted hands. Move them to the side just for 1 second. Before we zoom in and check out all this detail, let's just compare it to an actual comic image from Age of Apocalypse. And you tell me, how is this represented in plastic? Because I think this is spot on. This is clearly Sabretooth from Age of Apocalypse. Bravo Hasbro, done a great job. Can't wait to pair him up with Wildchild. But let's zoom in and check out what we got. So the first head sculpt is like a very sinister grin, if you will. He's got those brown eyes. He's obviously got the blonde hair, the blonde eyebrows, and he's even got a bit of 5 o'clock shadow there on the face, and obviously those big sideburns coming all the way down as well. This is very nicely sculpted. He's even got sort of like a quiff with separate strand of hair. That's a separate piece that just sort of goes over the head. So yeah, this is looking good. Spin it round to the back. You can see the hair in the ponytail. As I said, same articulation as the other one. It just sort of spins on the joint, but it does help if you're getting him in like a jumping pose or something. It adds a little bit of depth to the display, if you will. So yeah, there's that. The ponytail fits in seamlessly, as you can see. But yeah, this is a very nice sort of smug head sculpt. But as I already showed, he does have another one. And this one is much more how I picture Sabretooth. This time he's like snarling. You can see his teeth on show. His eyes are all white and glazed over. And yeah, he is looking vicious. And the head sculpts seem to be exactly the same in regards to the hair and the mold and the ponytail. It's just the actual expression on the faces which are different. So you've got options. You've got sort of eyes, because this one you can actually see his brown eyes and he's got a bit of a smirk. And then this one, the eyes are glazed over and he's sort of snarling. So yeah, there you go. You have options for the display and eyes, appreciate that. But the head sculpts, the hair, do seem to be exactly the same. So pick your option there. In regards to the rest of the figure, he's also got the stylized sort of collar that we see on a lot of these Age of Apocalypse design figures, and it also plugs into the back. If I move the ponytail out of the way just so I can show you this, there is obviously a peg hole here from the body reuse, and they plug in this collar piece. So this collar piece will obviously come off if you didn't want to use it, but obviously then it doesn't make sense. This is a part of the design, but obviously that just goes back over and it plugs in to the hole so it stays in place. But yeah, that's pretty good. It works, and it hides the hole on the back, which is also nice. Let me plug his ponytail back in, very easily done. As I said, you can articulate that depending on how you're getting him posed up. If you're going to get him pouncing or something, that works nicely as well. But yeah, checking out the rest of the figure, the jumpsuit, if you will, is sort of like a yellowy brown, if sort of the orangey mustard, if you will, and it's contrast to the sort of leathery texture of the brown as well. This side has got a bit more metal on there, but yeah, this is all smooth, but the arms, if you will, I don't know if you can see that under my light, there is definitely like a texture in there. So I guess this is meant to resemble hair, as there's a bit of a wash over it. Not hard, it's pretty subtle, but there's definitely different colours over the arm to sort of bring out some of that texture on the arm down to the gloves. And as you can see, he's got two open palmed hands on at the minute, which are sort of a grabbing, if you will, sort of sea grippy hands, if you will. So yeah, let me swap them real quick, because he does have a set of fisted hands, which is always good for a big chunky character like this if you want him fighting and whatnot. Moving down, the belt is a separate piece. Again, matches the leathery texture, matches what's on the gloves, and if you work all the way down, it matches what's on the boots as well. And you can see under the lights there, the leathery texture. Sort of looks like scratches and stuff, but it's definitely meant to represent leather. And that's a nice sort of textured contrast to the smoothness of the sort of dark orange sort of jumpsuit, if you will, because this is all very smooth. The waist swivel is hidden behind the belt, which I always like. The ab crunch isn't bad at all. You can get him crunching forward, get him crunching back a little bit as well. Arms go up to 90, but because of the body they've chose, it's only single jointed elbow, which is unfortunate. This guy would definitely benefit from butterfly joints on the front or the back, because as I said, it's Sabretooth. He is quite an agile character, even though he is big and chunky. As I said, he's got the metal on this arm. Legs does have a double joint, but because of the knee, the boot, it's hindering the knee, so you're only going to get it up to that much. There is a swivel there at the top of the bicep, swivel at the top of the thigh. There is an ankle pivot, of course, and a hinge on the arms and on the hands, sorry, and on the feet. So sort of standard Marvel Legends articulation. This character would benefit from more articulation, if that makes sense. As I said, his Sabretooth is known for jumping and attacking and all that good stuff, so you're going to be able to get him in some good poses still, I'm sure. But yeah, if they had butterfly joints, definitely would have made a difference. But yeah, overall, Sabretooth is looking very nice, and let's see how he compares next to his little companion, Wildchild. And this is what we all wanted to see. Sabretooth linked up with Wildchild from AOA Wave 1, the Sugarman Build-A-Figure wave. Ever since we got Wildchild, we knew he wouldn't be complete without an AOA Sabretooth, and now got these two together. I have to admit, it's going to look a lot more fun on the shelf, posing these two. And yeah, they look great. Sabretooth towers over Wildchild, as he should. Way back in the day, there was an AOA a Sabretooth figure that actually came with an accessory of Wildchild. So it wasn't even a 2-pack, it was just an accessory piece. But yeah, this definitely looks so much better. Definitely the best pairing of these two we have ever had in figure form. And yeah, as I said, that's just a quick pose, but wait until people start displaying this properly. And if I just move Wildchild out the way for a minute and show you the actual chain that came with Wildchild, look how easily it wraps around the arm of Sabretooth. You would think they made it for this specific reason. I'm sure they did. Hasbro are ahead of the game. So like that is wrapped around Sabretooth's arm, no problem at all. And then of course you just hook that onto the back of Wildchild and you're good to go. So let me just zoom back out for a second. Let me straighten him up and let's actually get a straight up size comparison of the two. So there's Sabretooth all lined up. Wildchild, oh, his ponytail fell off. Don't worry about it. Wildchild with his clawed feet. He's on the Peter Parker body maybe, I believe. So he's got a great range of articulation, as he should for such a agile little Wildchild character, little feral guy. So there you go. He comes up to about his shoulder. But as I said, Wildchild's never standing up on his 2 feet. He's always crouched down like this in some regard. So when you get him like that, he's literally up to the waist of Sabretooth, and that's going to look for a great display. So yeah, really liking these two together. The colours are not spot on, but they're close enough where they match. They've both got that stylized collar piece. Yeah, these look great paired together. Really like this. So for our Sabretooth comparison, here we have our 616 Sabretooth compared to an AOA, and you can actually see the AOA one is taller and just bigger and bulkier than the 616 Sabretooth. I actually do prefer the sort of overall size and stature of the AOA one, and if I get the tape measure out, you'll see he's like just under 8 inches, about 7 3/4 inches tall compared to the just under 7 inches of the previous Sabretooth. So yeah, as I said, it's pick your poison, but I do think you can sort of possibly fudge this in a 616 display, even though it's not dead on. You'll definitely have to take the ponytail off. But I'm curious if we can head swap, so let's try that. And yes, the head just does pop on there. Now, I do not think that is terrible at all. Yes, the head is too big for this Sabretooth body, but it doesn't not work either, if that makes any sense. Just depending on how you're displaying him, how he's set up in a photo, depth perception, all of that. But yeah, that head pops on this body, no problem at all. And I don't think the body matches the size of the head. I really don't. But it does sort of work. Let's try the other one. And again, probably a little bit too big, but it doesn't look too bad either. So just letting you know, there's options, but yeah, I don't think that looks bad, does it? As a 616 Unmasked Sabretooth, that could work. Here we have our AOA Sabretooth compared to our AOA Dark Beast from Wave 1. So again, I just wanted to show you for a comparison how big this Sabretooth actually is, because he's bigger than the biggest figure from the previous wave. So yeah, he's impressive. And look at that, he is nearly, not quite, but nearly the same size as the deluxe AOA Apocalypse, which is impressive. I definitely didn't expect these two to nearly be face to face, but yeah, I have to admit, I like the Sabretooth a lot. Here we have Sabretooth compared to a couple of different size figure from the AOA Wave 1 with X-Man and Weapon X. Here we have them compared to the only other figure I've opened from this AOA wave so far, which is Rogue. And you know what? As much as I like to tease people who like AOA, I like both of these figures more than I thought I was going to. So I'm not mad about it either. And last but by no means least, here we have Sabretooth compared to Captain Britain. And look, he's even taller than Captain Britain. Crazy. And worthy. How far, Hank? Final thoughts, I genuinely really like this Sabretooth. I can't help it. I know I always say I don't like the Age of Apocalypse designs, but this Sabretooth is just towers above Wildchild. And when you have those two posed together specifically, it's going to give the display a little bit of life and look a lot more fun. And yeah, I think that looks great. So no faults here. I like the interchangeable heads. You've got a couple of interchangeable hands. He's massive, towers above most figures. Like, he's nearly the size of the deluxe Apocalypse, for God's sake. So yeah, this guy impressed me, and it's so accurate. It's spot on to the actual character design of Age of Apocalypse Sabretooth. So yeah, I can't fault it. This is great. I really, really like it. And you let me know what you think in the comments below. Usually people have criticism with what bodies and what molds that Hasbro reuse, etc. But I'm not mad about it. Yes, this guy would have benefited from butterfly joints and a little bit more articulation, but I still think you can get him to look really good on the shelf, especially if he's just holding that chain and letting Wildchild go wild. But you let me know in the comments below, as always. And if you like Marvel Legends and you like what I'm doing here with these reviews, then stick around. Make sure you please hit that subscribe button. Much appreciated. You can now hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Quite simply show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. You can follow me on Instagram. It's Dan Who. I'm on Twitter at Dan Who Reviews. And as always, my name is Dan W. And I will, of course, see you on the next one.